hoops.
Like the wine that LeBron James is obsessed with, the King seems to be getting better with age. He's evolved so much on the court throughout the years, but that was really thrown in our face in November in San Antonio. LeBron James passed Peja Stojakovic for 18th on the all-time three-pointers made list in the NBA, and this is from a guy who shot 29% from deep as a rookie. So that got me thinking, how has LeBron's game evolved through the years? Well, you could just look at his shot charts. That's an easy way to do it. So this is LeBron in his rookie year in Cleveland, represents about how many shots he took from different places on the court and how good he was at shooting it from that area. Purple and blue is bad, green and yellow is good to elite. And as you see, we go through the years, he's always been good at driving to the rim. Look at how much yellow there is right there in the restricted area. A lot of yellow and green down there on the block, but then you start to see a lot more greens and yellows out on the perimeter and a lot less shots taken from the mid-range. So that's cool, but what the hell does it all mean? And that's exactly what this video is about. We're gonna sort of tell the story of how LeBron's game has changed throughout the years and more importantly, why. Hey, it's Casey Cannon from the AM Hoops YouTube channel. We're trying to grow this channel so every sub counts. We're trying to make 3 quality NBA videos every single week. And if you love the league, check out the AM Hoops podcast. Monday through Friday mornings, guaranteed in your podcast feed. We go over every single NBA game every morning. So after LeBron passed Peja that night in San Antonio, he had this quote about that really told an awesome story.
Because of the Spurs and a lot of my early years is part of the reason why my jump shot is a lot better today. My first finals appearance in 2007, they went under everything, and I didn't shoot the ball. I wasn't comfortable with shooting the ball at that point in time in my career. So, I give a lot of thanks to their scheme, a lot of thanks to a lot of other teams that I went against, but just trying to be the most complete basketball player I can be.
So LeBron credits the Spurs back then for the shooter that he is today. And if we go back to his first days in Cleveland, LeBron did a lot of the scoring for his teams because, well, they didn't have a whole lot of talent. They used to say back then that Mike Brown was the only coach that could stop LeBron James because his offenses sort of lacked imagination. It was a lot of just LeBron with the ball in his hands as a score-first point guard almost. But how can you blame Mike Brown? At that time, LeBron was the best option, the second best option for those Cavs teams. The fact that he even got to a finals is amazing. A lot of isolation point guard of the mid-2000s, driving to the basket a lot and pulling up for mid-range jumpers. But the problem back then was he wasn't super efficient with his jump shot. Take another close listen to part of that quote.
And I didn't shoot the ball. I wasn't comfortable with shooting the ball at that point in time in my career.
Right there. He wanted to say he wasn't confident, but he knows how crazy people get when LeBron says he isn't confident about something, so he switched it to comfortable.
I wasn't comfortable.
All right, so however he wants to word it, the point was he was bad back then. In fact, in that finals against the Spurs, he went 4 for 20 from downtown, and he kept trying to score like that all the way into his Miami days. Remember that last shot of the 2011 finals? A 25-footer that didn't go from way out on the right wing. And remember how much people criticized LeBron after that, saying that he wasn't clutch.
Went into a trance and crumbled under pressure.
Millions of fans who watched you wet the bed in the fourth quarter.
So what did he do? Well, he didn't just keep shooting till he got confident. He gained confidence by changing how to be successful. And so what he did to get better on the block was go down to Houston and learn from the best in Hakeem Olajuwon. Okay, so this footage, I literally could watch this video like all day long. Just LeBron learning from Hakeem. That's the best video of all time. And when he got back from learning from Hakeem, at the time, Heat coach Eric Spoelstra said this. It was as if he downloaded a program with all of Olajuwon and Ewing's post-up moves. I don't know if I've ever seen a player improve that much in a specific area in one off season. But what LeBron said really is the key to everything that he adds every single summer. Here's what he said, quote, "The biggest thing isn't how much you work on things, but it's can you work on something, then implement it into a game situation." And spoiler alert, LeBron can add all this to his game and at the most important times. Unlike his days in Cleveland, the coaching staff in Miami was able to use LeBron off the ball. And yes, down there in the post. In fact, he started to call that left block his sweet spot. And he can play off ball because he's got better teammates in Miami at this time. Of course, we know D. Wade and Chris Bosh, but playing down low opened up space for spot-up shooters in Miami like Shane Battier or Ray Allen, so LeBron became Miami's best passer and rebounder at that time. From his Cleveland to Miami days, LeBron averaged about 2 points less per game on around 3 fewer shots, which is better in terms of efficiency, which is basically what LeBron says is the common denominator in all these changes to his game. He wants to always become a more efficient player.
Oh, I love you. I love you so much.
After winning a title, LeBron's confidence grew and he began to reintroduce the three-point shot. In 2012-2013, he shot 40% from deep, the best percentage from three in his career. The 2013 finals, he hit a three in every single game of the series, shot 12 of 34, as the Heat beat the Spurs in that 7-game series. The next year, LeBron shot even more threes at a better clip, but of course Miami lost. So at this point, when LeBron's ready to leave Miami, he's added so much to his game. He is an efficient all-around force, which is good because he'd need that in Cleveland. And we saw many different iterations of LeBron's game in the land. For example, in 2016-17, Kyrie Irving became the first LeBron James teammate to attempt more field goals through an entire season. But at times, he had to do everything, like we saw in the playoffs as his teams got older. But he never stopped adding to his game. In Cleveland, LeBron's three-point percentage in clutch time was above league average and better than Steph Curry. The "is he clutch" question was answered. He took almost twice as many shots at the rim than in the mid-range, so basically the second Cavs version of LeBron was the most analytics-friendly basketball player outside of Houston. That includes from deep three. During his final year in Cleveland, LeBron James hit 52% from 28 feet or deeper. That is the highest percentage of any player since 2000. And that continued in LA year one. Now we all know that year one in LA was a nightmare in many ways. And LeBron's style was hard to pin down. Sometimes Lonzo and Rondo would handle the ball. When injuries struck, LeBron would play point guard. That team was the fastest pace LeBron had ever played at, so often he was like a fish out of water. But here's what the numbers say about year one in LA. LeBron had 12.4 drives per game and a career high in percentage of shots from three at 30%. And this quote really summed that up. He said, "I've been working on my jump shot for quite a while and increasing my range every year. For me personally, it's weird because I know where the league is going." That is something that we see rarely. Instead of aging to the paint, which is the way that a lot of older players age, he's aging toward the perimeter, which is insane. And year two in LA is the peak of that. It's unbelievable. Head coach Frank Vogel has asked LeBron James here in year two to play point guard for this team, but it is not the point guard that we've seen from LeBron in the past where he's a score-first point guard. He is a pass-first point guard and maybe the best in the league. His assist rate, which is the percentage of the Lakers shots that he assists on, is 51.9%. And if that sounds high, it is. It is the second highest of any player this season. Again, this is the first year ever he's played this style of point guard. And don't think he ain't scoring and rebounding a ton, because he obviously is. He is becoming a walking triple-double. In fact, this year Anthony Davis is on track to be the first ever LeBron teammate to score more than LeBron in a single season. So LeBron James today is nothing like the LeBron of the mid-2000s in Cleveland. In fact, he's changed like 4 different times, but every single change has benefited his team and his teammates, and we can't wait to see where LeBron takes his game next. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a weekly NBA video.